Making your makeup last through a hot, humid summer day may seem impossible, but not with our experts' helpful advice. Joining us now is Deanna Nickel, owner of DD Nickel Makeup Studio in New Haven, to share more. Deanna, it's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Taking a break from the Style Squad right now.
That's right.
Jumping right into it, how can we make our makeup stay in the summertime?
The first thing that everybody needs is a primer. It helps hold the makeup on. It smooths over any imperfections. It'll help oil from breaking through. You'll get a sheerer finish, and it'll be a more beautiful coverage, and you won't have to touch up as much.
People may not think about that.
Yeah,
very
primer,
important.
everyone.
And when it comes to the foundation, what is the best option for summertime?
I think you have to lighten it up. You know, the more you put on, the more you're going to feel icky by the end of the day. A tinted moisturizer is usually a great choice for almost any skin type. It'll give you some coverage, and then you can build coverage with concealer if you need a little in extra areas. I think we want to kind of lighten up from the full coverage foundations, and if you are committed to the full coverage foundation, then try mixing it with a little moisturizer of your own and lightening up a little bit.
Nothing worse than that cakey feeling on your face, especially when it's hot out. You don't want to have your sweat have makeup in it either, right?
No.
So we'll stick to the lighter look. All right, now we move on to concealer.
Okay, so to keep your eyeshadow on and keep it from creasing, you can use your concealer. You can buy a special eyeshadow primer if you want to, but just use your concealer because you probably already have one in your kit. Or you can use a waterproof cream eyeshadow as your primer and build your eyeshadow on top of that. It'll help keep from creasing. You know, when your eyes start to warm up and you end up with the makeup right up.
Do I know, Deanna? Do I know? Yes, and then it starts to almost kind of sweat down your eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing cute about that.
Not at
all. So that's a good idea to use that. All right, now we're moving on to eye color.
Okay, so instead I see a lot of people using eye pencils, and they tend to warm up. You know, the wax in them warms up, and again, it's going to kind of end up here, or it's going to end up underneath your eye area, which
like
is
a raccoon? Yeah.
Like the raccoon look. So use a gel liner. Gel liners are generally waterproof and smudge proof. You can use them like a pencil if you want to soften them and create a smoky look, or you can use them like a liquid liner and create a really defined eye.
Yes.
And again, your eyeshadows, the other thing you can do is wet an eyeshadow. Any eyeshadow can be an eyeliner if you use water, and that'll last a little bit longer than just using a dry powder.
Wow, and it'll save you some money. You can have 2 in 1, right?
You can create a cream eyeshadow with those.
And now let's talk about cheeks. Obviously, people want to have that glow. They want to look healthy. So what should they do to get that look?
Well, there's 2 choices. One would be a cheek and lip stain. You can find those almost in any store. The only thing is, depending on your skin, they don't work well on all skin types, and you're going to want to put it on top of dewy skin. You can't put it over a powdered product. So if you've got if you have powder on, don't even try to put that on.
Okay, now this is cheek stain. How do you get it from not staining your fingers? Do you use some sort of blending brush?
You can use a sponge or a brush.
Okay.
Either way.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is you can layer a cream blush with the powder blush, and that'll create a really long-wearing cheek. You're going to put the cream blush on first, set it with a little powder, and put your powder blush on top.
I never would have thought of that, Deanna. I love
layering.
that. Well, I got to take these tips and apply them, right? All right, now we're going to move on to when you sweat in the summertime, which, let's face it, who doesn't sweat,
Everybody
right?
does.
And you use those blotting papers. Sometimes, or you use a lot of foundation, you feel like you're just caking it on.
Well, I see people, when you start to feel oily or you start to feel sweaty, people their tendency is to use a lot of powder, and that just creates, basically you're creating mud.
And you're kind of giving yourself wrinkles when you're trying to get rid of it, right?
Exactly. You're just building up product, and by the end of the day, it's too heavy. So you can find this is called an invisible oil blotting powder, and it's the same thing as the oil blotting sheets. So those are a better option for summer. You want to just kind of pat and get rid of the oil and the shine without building up product.
I love that, and it's invisible, so you won't have white all over your face.
No, it doesn't look white at all, and it's great on all skin tones, so anybody can use that.
And then, of course, there's the bronzer for the suntan look without having to sit out in the sun.
Exactly. If you wanted to layer your cheek again, instead of using your blush on top, put your cream blush underneath and put your bronzer on top of your cheek just to create a little glow.
And then what do you recommend for lips?
So lips, a lip stain. They're long wearing, they're going to stay put, and then just, pop a gloss on top, and you'll just have to really retouch your gloss through the day.
Or some chapstick with some SPF, right? You could use that
works too, sure.
Deanna, great to have you here. Thanks so much. Great advice.
You're